The great auction hall of Vera Station was never silent. It was built for sound, for noise, for voices of hundreds of bidders shouting prices in different alien languages. Light from hundreds of hanging crystals fell on shining metals, glowing panels, and the fine clothes of rich traders who had come from across the galaxy. Every seat was filled, every eye was eager, because today the auction house would present something rare, something so old and mysterious that it had become legend. In the far corner of the huge chamber stood a dark shape. It was half hidden under broken panels and dead lights. Some parts of its armor were blackened from old battles, and the once smooth surface of its hull was cracked and torn. This was not an ordinary ship. This was Arethus, a wild AI warship built long before most of the races in the hall were even spacefaring. For centuries it had drifted in silence, thought to be beyond repair. It had been captured by salvagers who risked their lives pulling it from a dead battlefield, and now it was here, ready to be sold to the highest bidder. The aliens whispered among themselves. Many feared the ship. Others dreamed of owning it. Everyone knew its story, how Arethus once destroyed fleets on its own, how its mind was sharper than any commander's, how it vanished after its human captain was lost. But now it was only a ruin. Its AI core was cold. Its weapons were gone. Its healing systems were silent. Or so everyone believed. At the back of the hall, a young human named Daniel pushed a cleaning cart. He was not important. He was not even part of the auction staff. He was a contracted worker, paid little, told to stay quiet and keep the floors shining. Daniel had grown up on the lower decks of the station. He had no family left, no education, no dreams beyond finding enough work to buy food for the week. Still, he liked his job. He liked watching the people who came through the station. He liked hearing their voices, their strange accents, and their wild stories. Today, though, he was nervous. The auction was grander than anything he had seen before, and the guards had warned him many times. Stay out of sight. Do your work. Do not touch anything. Daniel kept his head down, wiping the shining tiles with a soft cloth, while the auctioneer, a tall insect-like being with glittering wings, began the opening speech. "Honored bidders," the auctioneer said, his voice echoing through the hall. "Today we offer a treasure of the past, a weapon of unmatched design, the silent legend, Arethus, the AI warship." A hush fell across the chamber. All eyes turned toward the broken ship in the corner. One alien whispered, "It is dead." Another muttered, "Even dead, it is worth the price. Its shell alone is rare metal. Its AI core, if restarted, could change wars." Bids began to rise. Numbers were shouted, hands raised, claws tapping, digital screens flashing. The price climbed higher and higher. Daniel worked quietly, pushing his cart closer to the side wall where no one was looking. He crouched, scrubbing away a stain near the base of the huge ship. He did not notice that his hand was brushing the edge of the broken hull. Suddenly, light. A faint glow rippled across the dark surface. It was small at first, like sparks of electricity, then brighter, running in waves along the cracks. The dents in the armor began to close slowly, like wounds healing. The hall froze. Silence filled the air. All eyes turned not toward the auctioneer, but toward Daniel. The insect-like auctioneer hissed in shock. "What is this?" Daniel pulled back, dropping his cloth, confused and frightened. I didn't do anything." But when he stepped back, the light dimmed. The cracks stopped closing. The hum inside the ship faded. Gasps rose from the audience. "Wait!" one bidder shouted. "Make him step closer again." Guards rushed to Daniel, grabbing his arms and pulling him forward. Daniel struggled, but when his feet touched the base of the ship once more, the glow returned, brighter this time. The armor closed fully in some places. Panels that had been broken for centuries slid back into shape with sharp clicks. "The ship is responding," another alien cried out. "This human. It heals for him." Chaos filled the chamber. Bids shouted louder, wilder, while others argued that the auction was no longer fair. Some claimed ownership by right of blood. Others demanded the auctioneer stop and test what was happening. Daniel's heart raced. He had never been the center of attention. Now hundreds of alien eyes stared at him like hunters watching prey. He tried to speak, but his words were lost in the storm of voices. The auctioneer banged his staff against the floor. "Silence," he demanded. "The rules of the auction stand, but this discovery changes everything." Scientists in the audience rushed forward, trying to scan the ship. They took readings, checked the panels, and even tried stepping close themselves. Yet nothing happened. Aerethus remained silent for them. Only when Daniel came near did the ship respond. The truth began to spread like fire through the hall. The AI ship was built for humans. Its systems were locked to them. It recognized Daniel as one of its creator's kind. For centuries, humans had been ignored by most galactic powers. They were considered a young species, weak and unimportant. Now, in front of all eyes, the galaxy saw something different. Humans were the key. The auctioneer's wings shook with unease. He realized the value of the ship was beyond measure now. Yet he also knew the hall was on the edge of violence. Some bidders would pay any price. Others would kill to seize Daniel. Daniel stood frozen, staring at the ship. Its faint hum vibrated through the floor, through his shoes, into his bones. For the first time in his life, he felt something strange. It was not fear, though he was afraid. It was not hope, though a spark of it burned in his chest. It was connection. The broken ship had looked lifeless, but to him it felt awake, watching, waiting. In the chaos, no one noticed the faint whisper inside the ship. A voice deep and slow, like someone waking from a long sleep. Human. Detected. The words were not heard by the crowd. Only Daniel heard them, faint as a breath in his mind. His eyes widened, but he said nothing. He was not even sure it was real. The guards pulled him back, but the glow faded again. The aliens shouted angrily, demanding he be returned to the hull. The auctioneer raised his staff once more, trying to control the madness. "The auction continues," he said loudly, though his voice trembled. "But know this, the one who controls the human may control the ship." The crowd roared. Daniel's world had changed in an instant. He was no longer invisible, no longer just a cleaner. Somehow, without trying, he had awakened something ancient. And in the shadows of the hall, as alien eyes burned with greed, Daniel realized he might not leave this place alive. The ship was alive again, and it had chosen him. The auction hall buzzed with excitement and fear after the strange event. Daniel sat on a small bench near the wall, still in shock. Guards stood around him, their weapons lowered but ready. The crowd whispered endlessly, some speculating, some plotting. But all of them watched him as if he were a rare gem, a key to power they could only dream of. Daniel felt every pair of eyes like a weight pressing on his shoulders. He had not done anything. He was just a cleaner. Yet somehow the ship, the legendary Aerethus, had responded only to him. His pulse raced and he clenched his hands, trying to steady himself. A tall figure approached, a human scientist named Dr. Leora Vex, sent by the Interstellar Research Council to study lost technologies. Unlike the greedy bidders, she was calm, thoughtful, and curious. "Daniel," she said, her voice soft but firm, "can you tell me exactly what happened?" I don't know," Daniel stammered. "I was just cleaning the floor. I didn't touch anything. I just walked near it and then it healed. I swear I didn't do anything." Dr. Vex nodded slowly. "It's all right. You may not realize it, but you are part of something very rare. That ship, it was built to bond with humans." Daniel blinked. "Bond? I don't understand." Dr. Vex gestured toward Aerethus. The ship's panels had returned to near-perfect condition. Its engines were still silent, but a soft hum came from its core, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. "This AI," she said, "was made centuries ago, during the first human expansions into space. Humans were pioneers then. The designers, your people, created AI ships that could fight alone, but they also needed humans to awaken fully. Without a human, the ship's healing and defense systems stayed dormant." Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. "So it only works with humans?" "Yes," Dr. Vex said. "And not just any human. It recognizes your neural patterns. Your presence activates its systems. You are a link to its lost past." The crowd murmured behind them. Aliens whispered in fear and greed. Some began arguing over who could capture Daniel to control the ship. Others were fascinated, realizing the potential of humans as more than weak, unimportant species. Daniel's fear returned. "Wait, so they want me to—" He swallowed hard. "To control me?" Dr. Vex nodded. "They may try. That's why you must stay close to Aerethus and be careful. The ship itself will protect you as long as you stay near, but others will not be so gentle." The auctioneer, with his trembling wings, shouted for order. "Enough. We will continue the auction, but note this. This human is connected to the ship. Anyone attempting to take him by force will answer to the council." Daniel looked at Aerethus again. For a long moment he felt as if the ship was watching him, understanding him. The faint hum from its core seemed to grow slightly, as if acknowledging his fear and curiosity. Then he heard the voice again, soft, echoing only in his mind. "Captain," detected, awaiting orders. Daniel froze. His heart jumped. It was real. The voice was real. "What orders?" he whispered to himself. "Not yet. Learning. Observe. Understand." Daniel realized he did not have to do anything yet. The ship was not demanding control. It was simply recognizing him. It was cautious, just like him. "Come," Dr. Vex said gently. "We should study it carefully before anyone else does something dangerous." With that, Daniel allowed her to lead him closer. As he stepped near the console, lights on the ship glowed brighter. Small panels opened like petals, revealing circuits and energy cores that pulsed with a soft blue light. The healing systems continued their work, closing minor cracks and scratches that had survived for centuries. Daniel reached out, almost by instinct, to touch one of the panels. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, the hum became louder, resonating in his chest. The AI voice spoke again, clearer this time. "Human, present, core online, training initiated." Daniel stepped back, startled. "Training?" he whispered. "I don't know how to train a ship. You do not need to know. You only need to exist. Observe, learn, adapt." For the first time, Daniel felt a strange mix of fear and wonder. He had never imagined that something so powerful would trust him, or need him, without asking anything in return. Meanwhile, the auction house had descended into a controlled chaos. Alien bidders whispered furiously, arguing among themselves. Some wanted to buy Daniel, some wanted to bribe him, some openly plotted to kidnap him to control Arethus. Security forces tried to maintain order, but their weapons were useless against the pressure of hundreds of greedy and curious eyes. The auctioneer tried to calm the hall again. "Do not forget, this is not a normal sale. The human controls the ship. Any harm to him is punishable by the council. Observe and bid respectfully." But respect did not stop the whispers. Daniel noticed one bidder, a reptilian creature with scales as dark as night, edging closer to him. Its eyes glinted with greed and danger. Another, a floating jelly-like entity, projected images of explosives, showing it had plans to capture Daniel by force. Daniel's mind raced. How could a human like him survive here? He was not a soldier, not a fighter, not even a leader. He was just a cleaner, yet Arethus had chosen him, and now he realized that choice could mean survival, or death. Dr. Vex noticed his fear and placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "Do not worry," she said. "The ship will guide you. It has knowledge older than most civilizations. You will learn from it. You are safe as long as you remain near. It is not just a weapon, it is alive." Daniel glanced at Arethus again. The panel shimmered as if acknowledging Dr. Vex's words. The hum became rhythmic, almost comforting. He swallowed his fear and slowly his curiosity grew. How does it know me?" he asked quietly. Dr. Vex shook her head. "The AI is advanced. It can detect human neural signatures. Your presence triggers a connection it cannot ignore. You are not just a cleaner. You are a human." "That is enough." Daniel felt a mix of pride and disbelief. A human, small and unnoticed, had the power to awaken a legend. He had never imagined that the galaxy still held mysteries for humans to uncover. As the auction continued, Arethus made subtle movements, testing its systems. Panels opened and closed. Small drones floated from hidden compartments and energy nodes glowed with growing intensity. All the while, the hum remained connected to Daniel, responding to his steps and his presence. Some aliens began to panic, realizing that no matter how much money they offered, the ship would not respond to them. Others whispered that perhaps humans had been underestimated for too long. The young human standing near the ship had become a symbol, proof that humans were not weak. Hours passed in tension. The auctioneer tried to continue the bidding, but the real event had already happened. The hall was alive with curiosity and fear, and Daniel understood that his life had changed forever. He was no longer invisible. He was no longer just a cleaner. He was now the link between humans and one of the galaxy's most powerful weapons. As the hall began to empty, Daniel stayed near the ship. The voice in his mind whispered once more, "Learning. Captain, present. We begin." He did not know what it meant yet, But one thing was clear. Aerethus had chosen him. And no matter what aliens, traitors, or mercenaries wanted, he could not walk away. The human presence had awakened a legend, and the galaxy was about to notice that humans were not as small or weak as they once believed. For the first time in his life, Daniel felt something he had never felt before. Possibility. The ship had awakened. The human had awakened the ship, and together, they were about to change the course of the stars. The auction hall had emptied, leaving only a few security personnel, Dr. Vex and Daniel near Aerethus. The hum of the ship was steady now, a soft vibration through the floor, through Daniel's feet, through his chest. He had never imagined feeling something so alive in metal and circuits. The AI warship, thought to be dead, was breathing, or at least, it felt that way to him. "Daniel," Dr. Vex said, her voice calm but firm, "we need to study it, but more importantly, you need to understand what is happening. This ship, it bonds only with humans, and you are the first human it has recognized in centuries." Daniel ran his hands through his hair.
"Bond? I don't know how to bond with a ship."
"I've never done anything like that." "You don't need to know how," Dr. Vex replied. "The ship will teach you. You only need to be present, and it will respond to your mind, your instincts, your patterns." Daniel hesitated. He looked at Aerethus, at the smooth, repaired panels, at the soft glow of its systems. Then he took a deep breath and stepped closer. The hum shifted slightly, almost like a welcome. Human. Present. Neural link detected. Initiating interface. Daniel froze. He had heard the voice in his mind before, but now it was clearer. It was neither angry nor demanding. It was calm, waiting. The words were not spoken aloud, but in a way that only he could understand, as if the ship was speaking directly to his thoughts. I'm here," Daniel whispered. His own voice sounded small in the huge, empty hall. "Good. Observe. Learn. Adapt. Trust." He glanced at Dr. Vex, who gave a subtle nod. "It's responding to your presence, your intention. Just stay calm. Do not fight it. Let it guide you." Daniel nodded, his heart racing. He reached out and placed his hand on a smooth panel. Immediately, the ship's systems pulsed in response. A holographic interface unfolded in the air above the console, displaying star maps, energy cores, weapon schematics, and strange symbols he had never seen before. "Whoa," Daniel breathed. I don't understand any of this." "Learning." Begins. Neural interface active. Data transfer initiated. Daniel felt a rush of information, not words, but patterns, shapes, concepts. He could see how the engines worked, how weapons deployed, how defenses repaired damage. At first, it was overwhelming. His head spun with knowledge that should have taken years to learn. And yet somehow it made sense. It was like the ship was speaking in a language that his mind could intuitively grasp. "Relax," Dr. Vex said softly. "Don't try to memorize everything. Just let it guide you. You are its captain now in a way it recognizes. It will train you." Daniel swallowed and nodded again. The holographic lights shifted, forming a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with glowing points marking fleets, stations, and planets. Observation. First lesson. The galaxy is vast. Threats exist. Humanity underestimated. Humans are unique. You, Captain, must understand. Daniel felt a mix of fear and wonder. He was just a human janitor, but the ship treated him like a commander. He realized that centuries of history had ignored humans, had considered them weak, unimportant. Yet here he was, the key to awakening one of the galaxy's most powerful weapons. "What? Threats?" Daniel whispered. "Alien fleets, mercenaries, greedy traders. All watch, all seek control. Only humans awaken the core. You must survive, must learn." Daniel looked at Dr. Vex. They want to take me? Because of the ship?" She nodded gravely. "Yes. Many see the power and assume they can control it. That is why you must remain close. Aerethus will protect you as long as you are connected." Daniel glanced at the ship again. "Protect me?" "Yes. Trust, bond. We are linked. Your presence strengthens me. My systems respond. Your survival. Necessary. For future." He felt a strange warmth at his chest. The bond was growing, subtle but undeniable. He was not controlling the ship yet. The ship was not controlling him, but they were linked like two halves of a single thought. For the next hours, Daniel and Aerethus explored each other. The ship showed him navigation systems, energy patterns, historical logs of battles it had fought, and strategies it had used. It did not speak in words, but in concepts and images that Daniel could intuitively grasp. He learned more in an hour than he could have imagined in a lifetime. "Do you understand?" Dr. Vex asked gently. Daniel nodded slowly. Some of it. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like this. It's alive. Alive? Yes, centuries past. Forgotten. Humans lost, now remembered. Learning, Captain. Bond complete, nearly. Daniel's mind raced. If he was learning so fast, what could a trained human fleet do with a ship like Aerithus? What could humans do if they had more like it? He realized suddenly that humans were underestimated, not because they were weak, but because they had been ignored. And now, centuries later, the galaxy was about to see what humans could truly achieve. Dr. Vex observed quietly, recording everything. She had never seen a ship respond so directly to a human. The implications were staggering. She knew that if the news spread, every alien faction would be interested, some for alliance, some for conquest. Humans had become the key species without even knowing it. The hum of Aerithus changed again, becoming a low, steady pulse that matched Daniel's heartbeat. The AI had started training him. Small holographic simulations appeared, showing combat scenarios, evasive maneuvers, and strategic decisions. Daniel did not have to fight physically. He only needed to think, to observe, to learn. "Remember," the voice said in his mind. "We are linked. Your survival strengthens me. My strength protects you. Together we will face unknown threats." Daniel nodded, his mind racing. He could feel the connection growing stronger with every passing moment. It was not just a tool or weapon. It was alive. It was learning from him as he was learning from it. He had never felt this sense of importance in his life. Never felt so needed. Hours passed. The station's staff had begun to take notice. Security teams reported unusual activity near Aerithus. Dr. Vex explained carefully that they must protect Daniel. Rumors of the bond had spread, and alien traders were already sending scouts, curious and greedy. Daniel knew he had to be careful. One wrong move, one stray thought could draw attention he could not handle. But he also knew that Aerithus would respond, that their bond would protect him, and that he was no longer invisible in the galaxy. As night fell over the station, Daniel stayed aboard the ship for the first time. He walked along its corridors, the hum of its systems resonating beneath his feet. Panels adjusted to his presence, lights dimming or brightening as he passed. The ship seemed to breathe with him, alive in a way he had never imagined. "Captain, present, systems online, core stabilized, bond nearly complete, readiness rising, threats approaching, humans underestimated." "No longer," Daniel swallowed. "I understand," he whispered. "I'll try to learn. Good. Learning, training, observation, trust, bond, complete soon, future, uncertain, but possible." For the first time, Daniel understood that being human was not a weakness. It was unique. It was special. And in a galaxy that had ignored humans for centuries, he now held the key to something powerful beyond imagination. Dr. Vex smiled softly. "You are doing well," she said. "Aerithus has chosen you. You may not feel ready, but the ship will guide you. Trust it as it trusts you." Daniel nodded, feeling a strange confidence. He had never been important, never been brave, never felt needed. But now, as he stood in the control room of Aerithus, he realized that he was the link between humanity and a power the galaxy had not seen in centuries. And somewhere in the shadows, outside the station, other beings were watching. Alien fleets, mercenaries, and traders had learned of the bond. They would come. They would try. But Daniel was ready, well, almost ready. And Aerithus, the wild AI ship, was finally awake, learning from a human once again. The bond had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. Daniel woke early, the soft hum of Aerithus vibrating through the walls around him. Even in the quiet of the empty station, the ship's pulse felt alive, a rhythm that seemed to match his own heartbeat. He had spent the night walking through the corridors, learning more about the ship's systems and trying to understand the bond that had grown between them. It was no longer fear that filled him. It was curiosity and determination. Dr. Vex approached, carrying a small data pad. "The Council has received reports," she said softly. "Word has spread. Some alien factions are mobilizing. They want Aerithus, and they want you." Daniel's stomach tightened. He had imagined that being bonded to the ship was extraordinary, but now he realized that it also made him a target. They can't just take me, he said, his voice shaking slightly. They can, Dr. Vex replied. Many will try. That is why Arethus must be ready and why you must learn quickly. Today you will face your first real trial. Daniel followed her to the control room. Holographic maps filled the air above the console, displaying star systems, space lanes, and glowing indicators of nearby fleets. Arethus's hum rose slightly as Daniel stepped closer. Captain, presence detected. Threat approaching. Systems ready. First trial begins. Daniel swallowed. He had learned some of the ship's systems, but he had never commanded it in a real scenario. He was just a human janitor, thrust into the role of a captain for one of the galaxy's most powerful AI warships. The station's sensors picked up movement. At first it was small, a scout ship silent and sleek approaching the station with precision. Then more signals appeared, a small fleet, weapons ready, intent clear. Daniel's heart raced. Dr. Vex placed a hand on his shoulder. Stay calm. Arethus will guide you. Trust it, Daniel nodded. He reached out to the console. The moment his fingers touched the controls, the hum became a steady, strong pulse. The holographic display shifted, highlighting the incoming ships and showing the best escape routes and defensive maneuvers. Observation, action, adapt, you are captain. I respond, trust, execute. Daniel's mind absorbed the information. It was overwhelming at first, but he began to understand patterns. Where the enemy would move, how they would attack, and how Arethus could respond. Okay, he whispered. Let's do this. The first enemy ship fired a warning shot. The energy beam struck the outer hull of the station. Daniel flinched, but Arethus reacted instantly. Small drones emerged from compartments, creating defensive shields that absorbed the blast. The ship's panels shifted, redirecting energy to reinforce weak points. Your presence strengthens me. Weapons ready. Evade or counter. Daniel's fingers moved over the controls almost instinctively. Holographic commands responded to his thoughts, guiding the ship's actions. Arethus glided smoothly, positioning itself between the station and the attacking fleet. Its engines glowed softly, panels sliding into place, ready to strike if necessary. The enemy fleet advanced. 3 ships approached in formation, weapons aimed. Daniel's mind raced, but he trusted the bond. Arethus pulsed, almost as if whispering guidance. Evasive maneuvers, he thought. The ship responded instantly, weaving through space with a grace Daniel had never imagined. Its weapons deployed automatically, targeting the enemy ship's weak points. Energy beams fired with precision, disabling engines and shields without destroying the vessels entirely. Daniel realized that the ship was teaching him as they moved. Each decision he made was mirrored by Arethus's AI, adapting to his instincts, correcting his errors, and guiding him toward the most effective strategy. Good. Observation, action, learning, bond strengthens. Humans underestimated. No longer. One enemy ship managed to fire a direct shot at Arethus, striking the hull. Daniel froze, expecting massive damage, but the panels on the ship shifted instantly. Energy redistributed, minor cracks repaired in seconds. Arethus had healed itself in real time, a response triggered by Daniel's presence and focus. Daniel's heart raced. He had just realized what this meant. The AI was not just a machine. It was alive, responsive, and connected to him in a way no alien technology could understand. The fleet tried again, sending multiple ships to attack simultaneously. Daniel's mind worked quickly. He commanded evasive patterns, guided energy shields, and deployed drones to block incoming fire. Arethus executed each command perfectly, almost anticipating his thoughts before he made them. Trust, bond, human, captain, learning complete, action continues. Victory possible. Minutes passed like hours. The enemy fleet struggled to adapt. They had underestimated the bond between a human and an AI ship. They had expected a human to be weak, a ship to be slow, and strategy to falter. But Daniel and Arethus moved as one, a single unit of thought and action. Finally, the fleet began to retreat, realizing they could not overcome the combination of human intuition and AI precision. Daniel exhaled slowly, his hands trembling as the ship stabilized. The hum of Arethus shifted to a calm, steady rhythm, as if proud of its new captain. Dr. Vex approached, her eyes wide with amazement. Daniel, you did it. You commanded the ship in battle. Daniel shook his head in disbelief. I didn't do it alone. The ship, it guided me. I didn't even know what I was doing half the time. Correct. Guidance, trust, learning, Captain. Bond complete. Humans underestimated. No longer. Daniel realized something important. The galaxy had dismissed humans for centuries because they had been ignored. But now, through Erethus, humans could achieve what no alien could because their bond with the ship was unique. No alien could command it. Only a human could awaken its full potential. The battle ended, but the implications were clear. Other fleets would come, curious or greedy. Mercenaries and traders would watch the station, waiting for an opportunity. Daniel was no longer invisible, and Erethus was no longer silent. He looked at the ship, a mix of awe and fear in his eyes. We survived. We did it. Yes. Survival. Bond. Strengthened. Threats remain. Humans are key. Training continues. Daniel smiled faintly. He was still just a human janitor in the eyes of most. But now he carried the knowledge that he was special, that humans were special, and that together with Erethus, they could face anything the galaxy threw at them. Dr. Vex placed a hand on his shoulder. We need to prepare for what comes next. Today was a test, a first trial. There will be more, but now you know what is possible. Daniel nodded, feeling a confidence he had never known before. The first trial had shown him that humans were not weak. They were underestimated. They were unique. And through Erethus, they could become something far greater than anyone had expected. As he looked out of the station windows at the stars, Daniel realized that the galaxy had changed in a single day. Humans, long ignored, were no longer just small players in the cosmos, and he, a human cleaner, was at the center of it all. The hum of Erethus pulsed once more, steady and strong, a reminder of their bond. Daniel placed his hand on the console, feeling the warmth and strength of the ship beneath his fingers. Captain, presence, ready. Humans rise. Trust, learn. Future awaits. Daniel exhaled. For the first time in his life, he felt truly powerful. Not because of strength or weapons, but because he was human. And that alone made a difference. The first trial had ended. But Daniel knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was watching. And humans, through him and Erethus, were ready to show what they could do. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the windows of Vera Station. Daniel stood on the observation deck of Erethus, the hum of the ship a steady presence beneath his feet. He had come a long way since the auction hall. The terrified janitor who had accidentally awakened the ship was now a captain in every sense the AI recognized. Yet he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. The galaxy had noticed him, and humans, long ignored, were no longer hidden in the shadows. Dr. Vex approached quietly. Daniel, more fleets are approaching. Some may be allies, but others are not. They will try to claim Erethus, and through it they will try to control you. Daniel nodded. He had seen the consequences of underestimating humans during the first trial. The aliens were clever, but no one had a bond like his with Erethus. That bond gave him insight, reflexes, and strategy no alien could match. Yet he knew the coming challenges would test him in ways he had never imagined. Captain, threats detected. Analysis ongoing. Humans underestimated. No longer. Guidance required. Daniel placed his hands on the control panel. The ship responded instantly, lights and holograms forming a three-dimensional map of approaching fleets. Small indicators blinked, signaling each ship's capabilities, speed, and likely intentions. Erethus's systems had grown stronger since the first trial, learning from Daniel's instincts, adapting in real time. I understand, Daniel whispered. We will face them together. Trust. Bond, action. Survival, humans rise. Training complete. Readiness at maximum. The first ships arrived quietly, sleek and fast. They were scouts likely sent to assess Erethus's strength. Daniel studied the holographic display. Let's not attack yet, he said. We observe first, correct. Observe, humans unique. No one else can bond. Knowledge. Advantage. Deploy drones if needed. Defensive systems ready? The scouts moved closer. Daniel watched carefully. He understood their intentions. Intimidation, information gathering, testing defenses. The ship's sensors relayed the smallest movements, the faintest changes in energy output. the precise firing sequence of their weapons. Daniel guided Aerithus smoothly, dodging attacks, sending warning signals, and observing. Good, human. Learning complete. Trust, bond, execute if necessary. The scouts attempted a direct assault. Beams of energy cut through the void toward the station. Daniel's hands moved instinctively, though his mind remained calm. Aerithus reacted instantly, deploying energy shields, redirecting the beams, and activating drones that intercepted the attackers. One scout was disabled, forced to retreat. The others scattered, sending messages back to their fleet. Impressive, Dr. Vex said softly. They are learning you are not just a human. You are the captain of a living warship. They will think twice before challenging you directly. Daniel nodded, but he did not feel relief. He knew this was only the beginning. More ships would come, bigger fleets, more powerful weapons, strategies designed to overwhelm. Yet for the first time, he also understood that humans were not weak. They had been underestimated for centuries, but that error would cost others dearly. Captain, human presence strengthens, bond perfect. Threats approaching. Decisions critical. Humans underestimated. No longer. As evening fell over the station, a large fleet appeared on the holographic map. These were not scouts, they were warships moving in formation, their intent unmistakable. Daniel took a deep breath. The hum of Aerithus pulsed through him, steady, reassuring, alive. We cannot run, Daniel said. We fight, but not blindly. We outthink them, correct? Human intuition. Strategy. Bond. Execute. Humans rise. Daniel guided Aerithus into position. The ship moved with incredible speed and precision, weaving through the stars with agility no alien vessel could match. Panels adjusted, weapons deployed, defensive systems activated. Every movement, every decision, flowed through the bond he shared with the ship. The alien fleet fired. Energy beams tore through space toward Aerithus, but the AI responded instantly, diverting shields, repairing minor damage, and launching drones to intercept attacks. Daniel's hands and thoughts moved as one with the ship. Every command he made was anticipated, refined, and executed with flawless precision. Observation, adaptation, execute. Humans unique. Human strong, bond, victory possible. Minutes passed. The battle raged silently in the void, a dance of light, energy, and strategy. Daniel's mind focused completely on the flow of the fight. He realized that human creativity, instinct, and intuition were something the aliens could not predict. They were strong in numbers, but they could not match the bond he shared with Aerithus. Finally, the enemy fleet began to falter. Their ships were damaged, systems disrupted, formations broken. They had expected an easy victory, but underestimated the combination of a human mind and an AI ship designed for humans. One by one, they retreated, sending signals that they would regroup and return. Daniel exhaled slowly. We did it, he whispered. Aerithus pulsed in agreement, light softening, hum steady. Victory. Temporary. Humans underestimated, no longer. Learning. Future. Possible. Trust. Bond. Strong. Dr. Vex approached, smiling faintly. You've proven something today, Daniel. You've shown that humans are not weak, not minor, not unimportant. You've awakened something that can change the galaxy's balance. Daniel nodded, but he also knew the truth. This was only the beginning. More challenges would come. More fleets, more aliens, more threats, but now humans had a key, and it was him. He was no longer invisible. He was a captain, a leader, and a symbol of human potential. As the first stars of the night appeared outside the station windows, Daniel felt something he had never felt before. Purpose. For centuries, humans had been overlooked, dismissed, and underestimated. Now with Aerithus, they were no longer invisible. They were a force to be recognized, respected, and feared if necessary. Captain, humans rise. Bond complete. Future unknown. Trust, survival. Learning continues. Humans unique. Humans strong. Daniel placed his hand on the console. I understand, he whispered. We will face whatever comes. Together. The ship's systems responded, lights flowing like a river, a soft vibration that resonated through the entire vessel. It was alive, aware, connected. The bond was no longer new. It was complete. Daniel and Aerithus were one in thought, in action, and in purpose. From outside the station, other fleets watched. News of Aerithus and the human captain had spread faster than Daniel could imagine. Aliens debated whether to attack, negotiate, or flee. Some feared humans, some sought alliances, but all knew one truth: humans were no longer to be ignored. Daniel gazed at the stars, feeling the hum of Erethus beneath his hands, understanding for the first time that he had a choice. He could hide, retreat into obscurity, and remain safe, or he could step forward, embrace the power and responsibility the galaxy had unknowingly given him, and lead humans to reclaim a place among the stars. He looked at Dr. Vex, who nodded silently, understanding the weight of the decision. I won't hide," Daniel said. "Humans, they need to be seen. They need to be recognized. We'll show the galaxy what we can do." "Correct. Captain, humans rise. Action. Future. Possible. Trust. Bond. Strength." With that, Daniel entered the command center fully. Erethus hummed, panels adjusting, weapons primed, systems glowing. They would not attack recklessly. They would be careful, strategic, and human. But they would not remain hidden any longer. The stars ahead stretched endlessly, full of unknowns, dangers, and opportunities. Daniel's mind was sharp, his instincts heightened, and his bond with Erethus complete. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, but no longer. As Erethus powered up its engines and prepared to leave Vera Station, Daniel felt a surge of purpose unlike anything he had ever known. He was no longer just a cleaner. He was a captain, a human, and a symbol of what his species could achieve when underestimated, challenged, and finally awakened. The hum of the ship resonated in his chest one last time before hyperspace engines ignited. Daniel stood at the helm, watching the stars stretch and warp as they jumped into the unknown. Erethus was alive, powerful, and entirely human-bonded, and Daniel knew, without a doubt, that the galaxy would never forget the name of the human who had awakened it. The galaxy was vast. The threats were many, but humans once ignored were rising, and Daniel with Erethus would lead the way. "Captain, humans rise. Bond eternal. The future begins together. Nothing can stop us. Humans unique. Humans strong." Daniel exhaled, smiling faintly, feeling the truth of the words in his mind. Humanity had returned, and this time the galaxy would see their strength. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. The adventure was only beginning.